Applause, I ain't done yet. Immortality got me weary since Kobe died. I got this watch on my arm, but I'll never know my time. So my focus lies in my work, which got me in overdrive. I can't break for a day. I'm in a maze of my mind. I can't make an escape.
Hey man, so we back with another episode of Decoding Two Sides of the System. First off, y'all, we've been going crazy. Hey, we had 61,000 subscribers now. You already know we went up at least a good 2,000 people before I shot this episode on the last one. And man, y'all, first off, I want to tell y'all I am so excited. Man, I'm here with Chef David. Listen, this man is a bunch of different things. I'm about to introduce him to y'all. I'm grabbing my notes. He's an actor. He's a former chef. We talking about business owner. We talking about world traveler. Used to own a cater business. Listen, this man, we got on the phone and we had a great convo, y'all. And shout out to Coach Hightower. Coach Hightower got him to the platform. And when we talked, I just was like, dang, I gotta get him on here for him to give y'all this information and to help y'all mentally understand in life where you want to go and all the different opportunities that there are. So, man, I introduced him to y'all. Now I want him to introduce, to yourself. And, man, thank you so much for coming on the platform.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. First off, man, I just got a hold of your content, man, and I appreciate what you got going on, man, because a lot of people need to understand that we need to share this information. All right, so my name is David. I'm a Decoding Blues graduate out of Dallas, Texas. I worked at the Ritz-Carlton, Dallas. I did the House of Blues, Dallas. Ended up doing my own personal chef work. Did a restaurant. But before all of that, I did 20 years in the Navy. And I went in at 17. And I retired at 38. I stayed back in the States for about another 10 years or so or less, and then I said it was time to be free to move to Panama. I moved to Mexico first. I did 5.5 years in Mexico, and then next 2 years I've been in Panama. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of things to do.
Man, that is lovely, and that's what I want to open up. First, I want to start where are you from? I know you kind of said that a little bit, but what gave you the mental mindset to learn and want to travel?
Man, I was just talking to my fiance about that the other day, and I said, you know what? I made a decision at the age of 13 years old. I joined in the JROTC program in the high school. I did 3 years of that, but my freshman year of high school, they have different recruiters. They come out and talk to you and show you videos. My dad was in the Army, but he only did 6 years, so I didn't even experience other outside of being very, very, very small, baby. I didn't experience much of that. But after hearing the stories about, Army and what they do, when I saw the Navy video, I said, that's it. I knew from ninth grade I wanted to go to the Navy, the beginning of the 12th grade year, and in Shreveport, Louisiana. All right, Captain Shreve High School, go Gators.
Okay. Oh, that's crazy. My high school was the Gators too, but go ahead. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I saw the video, ninth grade, August of 87. I told my mom and dad, I said, I want to go to the Navy. December of 86. December of 86, I went and took the ASVAB test. They signed me up. August of 87, I was gone, man. 20 years later, I was back home. But I wanted to travel, man. I wanted to see the world. That was the best bet. The Navy was going to give me that. And it did, and more.
Right. Man, I preach this to some of my friends and just to some of my subscribers. You never know what your mind will be open up to until you travel. And some people take for granted the moment and what you learn when you travel. And what I mean by that is, and I want you to kind of elaborate on this after I get done. What I mean by that is they take away the moment because sometimes we look at cost and we don't understand what experience and what the life lesson is going to give us and what it's going to bring back. See, sometimes in life, people put a price tag on their happiness to what they want to do, and not realizing that happiness comes with your hard work. If you work hard and you grinding on your job, whenever you go take a trip, have your happiness, have your fun. Don't sit there and put perimeters on how you're gonna have fun when you work so hard to live day to day, because then you block out things in your mind that you would never be open to. How you feel about that?
I think people need to start prioritizing themselves. People go into a job, they go in and they give that job 1,000%. They make sure they're on time. They make sure they're doing the things that are supposed to be doing to be productive for themselves and the company. But it seems when they come to themselves, they put themselves on the back burner. You need to go hard and give that same energy to yourself when you get out. I always think about traveling as an education destination, not party destinations. I want to go somewhere where I can learn something culturally and immerse myself into that. And then I think a lot of people go somewhere to party, and that's fine if that's your thing. But I like my next trip, my next few trips. I want to go to Egypt. I mean, I want to go and I want to see the pyramids. I want to learn about those eight wonders of the world, and you got some of that sitting over there. I want to be able to go. My fiance, she was living in Ireland for a year. I've been to Dublin, Ireland, but I say I go, But I like to find places where I not only can I enjoy it, but I want to learn something at the same time.
Right, right. Yeah, I like that perspective. I like that perspective. I think that you know with that comes a whole nother realm of what the possibilities are when you travel. Whenever you can sit there and learn, you know what I'm saying. And I feel
Yeah.
like everybody has a boundary of fun, and what I mean is sometimes just how we hold boundaries with people. Some people have a boundary of what they think fun is. So your
Hmm.
fun might be, I want to go lit, I want to be lit, I want to go turn up, I want to go party.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
take them to do something like that to where you're having fun and you're learning the history about where you come from, that can break your boundary of fun, and then it opens your mind up to a new world of possibilities. And that's what traveling is. It opens your mind up to a new world of possibilities. And we're gonna get into that more and later in the episode, because he's gonna tap into y'all and tell y'all the different possibilities of you don't have to live in the US, and the different things of ways how countries are structured into hard working, into your true value. Like your true value of what you feel about yourself in America and your situation might be different if you decided to take a chance and take a swing and go past your boundaries and move. So we that is something we definitely gonna tap into. You got anything to say about that?
Man, let me tell you, some people, being from Louisiana, some people have never left their city, never left their parish, never went out of the state. And then when you tell them, man, I've been over 45 different countries in my lifetime. And I tell people, they say, what? I said, man, you gotta travel. But then when you say, well, how you do it? I mean, man, you save your money and spend it on what you want. So I say, it really, I mean, if people understood how cheap it really can be to travel and where you stay, I think if you prioritize that, if I go somewhere and stay, I'm only going to be able to sleep, shower, and get out the door. I tell people, hostels are some, and some mammoth jams, boy, they got a bad hostel down there in New Orleans, man. You be like, what? But yeah, so I tell folks, you just got to, open your mind. And once you get to these places, you're going to find out. Oh, I thought, but I thought, and then you realize that America is a little bit different than what you thought it was.
Yeah, yeah. And man, you spoke a million words when you said that, because me and my friends, we kind of go back and forth. See, my friends, they're like, dang, you always moving around, you always doing things. But I always was prioritizing putting my money into going somewhere and traveling instead of spending my money on things locally and just gambling and betting and things like that. I've never been a gambler. I never wanted to be in that. My family gambles a lot. They're like, I might bet on a 2K game or something once in a while, but my my mental mindset was, man, I always want to be able to save my money and push it into something that I really want to do. And as I started traveling, I realized, oh, If you start knowing people and then you get the game with traveling, it's cheap. But people don't understand it
Yeah.
because you looking at the overview of everything. Like, I didn't understand, that some people have hotel deals, so they get big discounts. So now you're just spending your money on a plane ticket. You know what I'm saying? And what are you gonna eat out there? And most people, and this is a gem for y'all. I'll tell you the truth about this. Most people spend more money traveling than you would see somebody that's actually like going out the country and things. So you will spend more money inside the country of going to a Miami and LA than you would going to a Mexico, a Panama, like all these different places because it's different. It's set up different. How you feel about that?
Look, I tell people, some people first of all, get a passport. If you don't have a passport, that is your ticket to the world. You can't move outside of the country without that. Get a passport. Find a way. It's not expensive, $130 or something like that. And prioritize that. Save your little money. Save $50 here, $50 there, $50 there. You got your passport money. Get that. Then some people who have passports got multiple stamps from the same location. I like, the world is bigger than Jamaica. It's bigger than Mexico. You know, find a destination. I'm a warm weather person. I ain't gonna lie. I've been a lot of places in my lifetime, but I prefer warm weather. But I'll take a cold weather. But no, I tell you, get out. You gotta start with the passport, and then find a place on the map. And yeah, if your priority is go to have fun, go have fun. But I tell you this, languages is an issue for a lot of people. So please try to find a language friendly for you if you don't speak the language and there's not a predominantly English spoken areas.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The language barrier is a real big thing, and like I didn't take it serious in school. The young people that's watching this, please take Spanish. I wish I would have took Spanish more serious. Lord have mercy. As many people as I've met on vacation and just going to these different places, my God, like
Mm.
I'm back on it right now a little bit, but I'm trying to be real fluent. But man, you're speaking a million words. Another thing I want to tap into people to understand that is whenever you traveling and just how we saying like the cost might not be, and y'all, you got to understand whenever you travel with experienced people, they teach you ways to save your money. They teach you the ins and outs. They'll show you, oh, so you just doing this. Listen, man, if you're going to travel, go here. They'll give you the game. But, I feel like, and you can attest to this, I feel like some people don't understand who you are is going to tell you where you are. And where you are is going to tell you where you going. So if you in the spot with these people that's traveling, they're going to give you that game. That's why they say your friend circle. Whenever you get into a different circle of people, they can open your mind and your mental mindset into things that you never even thought or dreamed of. And that's what you can tap into when you travel. You can't put a price tag on that. What you think, man?
Man, I tell folks, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change rooms. Because if you're not learning something from those around you, then you're too busy teaching, and we're never too old to learn. Uh, Find those people in your circle, that like to travel, that likes to travel, and people think, oh, I'm traveling, you balling on the budget. And man, get all that, travel any way that you can. But I tell people, what I generally do is I'd say, okay, in December, I want to take a trip. I start getting online. I start looking at prices. I don't have to go that far. I can go 2 months out. And generally what I do is I find a good deal on a plane ticket. I buy that ticket then and there. Tickets out of the way. Find you an app, whether it be Expedia, Travelocity, Booking, whatever. The one thing you want to find with that is find those things that you can use to book your hotel and stick with them. Book everything through them consistently and get the points they give you. Trust me, Booking.com, I'm genius level 4 or 5, and I get so many good deals off of them just by booking through them. I'm not too much an Airbnb guy. I mean, they have Airbnbs on there, but I try to find some. tell people, find a platform that you can stay with. If you got an airplane, airlines that you like in particular that you stick with, build the points with them, get a credit card with them, build your mileage up. Find something. You'll find that traveling is a really much cheaper than what you think it is.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. And y'all, another thing what he said too is notice how he said he picks up piece by piece. The thing with people is people be so unorganized. You can't just sit there, you ain't never traveled before, and be on some, some black people time. Oh, we going in 2 months. And now you're trying to look at a hotel. Now you're trying to look at flights. Yes, it's going to be crazy expensive. Like, everybody, like, notice what he said first. First, I get the month. Then I book the ticket and just get it out the way. And then I focus on the hotel. You cannot do all 3 in 1, 2, 3 months out. No, that's not how you travel. That's how you get broke and stay broke. You're going to spend a crazy penny. So it's a process to everything, y'all. It's a process to everything. I always tell myself every year I'm going to get out the country. I have to get out the country every year. That's literally been my thing ever since I probably was like 22-ish, 23-ish. I'm 29 now. So I've been out the country every since. But the thing about it is, whenever I say that, my birthday is in December 31st, the last day of the year. I want people to understand what I'm saying. I have a whole year to plan a trip. So it's not me saying, oh, in January I got to do. No. I'm telling myself, y'all, hey, build bricks at a time. Bricks at a time. Y'all don't have to build a house in one jump. Like, that's not how it goes. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that he said that really spoke miles to me, we're never too old to learn something. Not only that, we're never too old to listen. Y'all, in today's time, everybody has this wall up of, oh, I want to be this, or you want to be the boss, or, boss is just a 4-letter word. If you don't do nothing that entails and processes you to be a boss, then you just called the boss. It's just a word. And all bosses listen. All bosses have to learn. So mentally understand that when he said that you're never too old to learn, y'all, let's stop talking crazy to our elders, people that done live life, and get the learning lessons that they learn so we not going through these trials and tribulations. To the older generation, let's sit back and learn what's new out there so you understand what you're going into, because you're out of touch. It's both ways. Man, how you feel about it? I'm sorry I get passionate about that because I feel like
That's okay.
that's a missing bridge, man.
Look, I'm 55. I'm into tech. I'm all into the AI stuff. I use AI daily, and I don't use AI as a search engine. I'm using AI to learn. I'm strategizing. I need to learn how to do different things, and I'm having whole conversations with AI daily. On that, the whole boss topic, I want to say this about people who so-called bosses. Bosses have employees. I'm just gonna leave that one at that one. Yeah, so I've been there, done that, but no. Yeah, you just gotta like I tell some of my friends, I say, you don't know about this, you gotta learn this. I mean, imagine, and let me give you a scenario real quick. I'm 55. I'll be 56 in October. So my growing up in the October 7th.
Bro, my mom's birthday is October 8th. That's crazy. God dang.
Libras are the bomb, bro.
Man,
Libras are
go
the
ahead,
bomb.
man. Dang, golly. Go ahead.
Yeah, both from Louisiana. Your mom's
Both from
birthday is the day after
Louisiana.
mine.
Yes, that's crazy.
Are you? But you're in LA, right? Oh no.
No. I live in Oregon.
Okay. Well, I used to live in Washington State. My son graduated from UW. Uh,
Okay. Oh yeah, I like you, Dub. I like you, Dub. Okay.
but anyway, what was that? Uh, lost my train of thought on that one.
You were saying, nah.
Oh, the whole learning. So back in the 80s, also 60s, 80s, 70s, And then you grow up in that era, and when we got to where computers first came out, we got to where pages and then cell phones came out, and then cell phones rapidly progressed from just making phone calls to what you see today. And so we had people who was still wanting to work with the flip phones, didn't want to get with the other tech. And I said, you got to learn this because after a while, they're not going to be servicing these phones. And as I was in my early 30s, mid 30s, I'm trying to tell you, the people that was in their 30s, 50s, and 60s, I'm like, you got to learn this tech because if you don't, it's going to leave you behind. And a lot of times you're going to be in a situation where you need to know this. So yeah, always, always. And like when I talked to you, I said, man, how do you do this stuff? I'm curious about how to learn and how to do that. I have no shame in asking nobody younger than me for knowledge. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great tool to learn. And I'm the same way. You can attest to this because I have a bunch of subscribers, but people don't really understand like how I am off the camera because they don't really see it. And I know you can attest to me just being genuine and just really just trying to have a conversation with you. I don't come off as, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Like I genuinely just love having great conversations and want to give people great conversations. And that's what a lot of people in life are mentally missing their blessings because they don't want to have conversations to where they don't have the knowledge to be able to talk back and forth. Like they don't want to learn in a conversation. So in today's time, you'll meet a bunch of people who they might come to speak to you, but they won't humble themselves down to say, man, I don't know. Can you tell me about this? Because eternally that makes them feel some type of way. But not understanding that your blessing is in that conversation. Because that learning lesson could be the one tool you need to take you to the next level.
Yes, sir. When you talk to people, you can kind of take a gauge what they're there for. They're either taking something or giving something. And a lot of people you get with, they want to come to take stuff from you, and whether it be your energy, whether it be your knowledge, and then some people just want to come and just dump on you. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. So, but then I tell folks, don't have a conversation with me if you don't want my advice. I'll listen to you till you finish. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to shut up and be attentive to what you're saying. But you say, I don't want you to say nothing about it. No, you're not going to get the dump on me. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to give it to you straight. And I'm not going to cut no corners with it. I'm not going to be abrasive with what I tell you. But clearly you have an issue that I think I may be able to offer some advice to you. In a different situation. I talk to a lot of people. I'm like, hey, I like to listen. I like to talk. I like to engage with people all the time. As what I do, as who I am. But, I like, okay, I want to learn too. I want to learn too.
Facts, yeah. And the greatest thing that you just said is you don't let people dump on you. People don't understand that's a boundary. Have a boundary with yourself. Don't let people just be there to just listen to their problems, then they don't want you to say anything or nothing. But I think too, everybody comes to me whenever they want to hear the real or something. They're like, oh, Trey, like, hey, I need you to. And I think that a lot of people don't understand at being yourself and you saying that's what makes you different. That's what pushes you to the next level. That's what makes your mind, your energy, and your spirit grow. Because you know who you are and you know what you're willing to take. And times in life, we have so many people dumbing things down, breaking their own barriers to make other people feel comfortable. And they're taking on their trauma in their life, and it's not even theirs. Some people are so worried about their friends' actions and what they did, and oh, my sister's going through this, she messing with this guy, this thing, and that's not even your life. You're not even where you want to be in your mentally, you're not even there. So it's like you're sitting there taking on so much and you're not doing what you need to do. And that's the problem I feel like that we're at right now in today's time. We got a whole bunch of people that want to help everybody, but the mirror is not ever on them for them to help themselves.
Crazy. Hey, I gotta say, and y'all can take this for what it's worth. Stop picking up stuff that don't belong to you.
Ooh, that's deep too.
Stop picking up stuff that don't belong to you, i.e., stop making other people's problems your problems.
Right.
It's okay to be there to listen and say, hey, I'm here as a sounding board. But the thing about it is that you can't take on stuff that don't belong to you. And people, you're not here to save anybody. That is not your job. You can't save nobody. And you going broke to lend your friend money, thinking that they're gonna reciprocate when you get in that situation, is about as crazy as a road lizard. You can't do that. You gotta be okay. I got a boundary. I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna let you vent. But you asked me first, can you dump on me before because some people, they have such a willing and giving spirit that they take on. They're so busy wanting to help other people, and they start taking on stuff, and then you carry that stuff in your spirit with you, and then you be like, okay, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? That conversation is still churning inside. You got to dump that out. You got to get rid of that. So be careful who you let come in your space and have these type of conversations that are energy draining. You got energy vampires out there that will take you into a whole different place.
Yeah. Also, too, the, the people that you listening to and you bringing that into your thing, that can impact your relationships with your partner because your energy off and your partner's looking at you like, why are you so mad at her? Nah, that just made me mad. Da da da. And it's like now your focus is not even at home where you need to be. So now your partner is sitting there, he worried about you, and you worried about something else, and he's like, why are we even worried about this together? We still got stuff that we're pushing for. So please be cautious on that. And another thing too, your circle of friends, I
Mm.
forgot to tap into that, but you gotta, just like he said, I look at friends like this. I look at my friends different now. I look at my friends as far as what can you pour into me that's gonna help me grow. I'm a seed. I naturally want to grow. What can you pour into me and let me grow? And for instance, I know my worth and I know what I'm going to pour into you. So I try to align myself in areas of everything that I want to be and I want to succeed. I have a friend in that area. So I one day I want to own a real estate properties. I have a friend in that area. One day I want to do speaking. I have a friend in that area. One day I want to do like conferences, hold mental health. I have a friend in that area. And these are people that's levels way above me. And people, you got to understand, in order to get into a different comfort zone, you got to tap out of your uncomfort zone, which means you got to max out of your uncomfort zone. You can't be sitting here being uncomfortable to try to relay messages and learn from different people and put people into your lives and just ask them and try to share knowledge and when people give you the door, ask them questions. They're saying ask me, ask them. So
Exactly.
listen, the worst thing about somebody, if you ask them a question, if they don't answer, is they don't answer. At least you ask the question.
Oh, they don't know.
Or they don't know. Yeah, that's the same thing.
So there's no comfort. There's no growth in comfort.
That's a
There's no
fact.
growth in comfort. You can't be comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Right.
You're gonna only grow when you're in that space that you're uncomfortable. About friends and what you said, Will Smith said this best, and he said it a while ago, and I carry this every day. I set my life on fire, and I surround myself with people who fan my flames. If they're not
Ooh,
fanning your flames, they're pissing on it.
enough said on that one. Enough said on that one. Man, that was a bar. Oh my, wait till we clip that. That's a clip right there. That's a clip, y'all.
Hey, I
Nah.
live
Hey,
by it.
hey, that speaks a million words though, y'all. Please, y'all. I know I preach to y'all all the time about mental health, and this is why I wanted to bring this bring this great man on because he has a bunch of knowledge and tools that's gonna help you grow. And one of those things too is I want to tap into with you right now is this cooking. So, man, what got you into cooking, and especially to the level to where you wanted to be a chef? Cause look, hey, listen, hey, I got a podcast coming out. It's called Mr. Cook Better Than Your Man. So all y'all women out there, your man who can't cook, yeah, I'm Mr. Cook Better Than Your Man. I already got an episode shot. I already got 2 shot actually. They in the cusp. Wait till I start dropping this, my God. But man, so you one of them men that can cook, so it's a different level of respect for you right now. So I want to know that, because in today's time, these women out here, these Gen Zs or even some of these older women, they ain't never had a man that could cook them a meal. And not only did you learn how to cook, you learned how to do it at the highest level. So tap me in, man. Where that came from?
Well, I was the oldest of 4. I had a brother that was a year younger than I am, and my mom had a set of twins that were 9 years younger than I am. And so, I was 9 years old when they were born, and she was working, and I had to learn how to cook. I started cooking at an age where when I had to pull up a chair to the stove.
Oh yeah,
That's how when I
yeah.
got started. But my grandmother, most of all, I used to go to my grandmother's house, and I used to watch her in the kitchen. I would just go stand there in the doorway, and she said, "Come on in here," and I go in there and I watch. And I was watching her how she made her cornbread, man, how she did her collard greens, how she did her black eyed peas,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
she cooked
lined
her
up,
rice,
lined up.
all of that. And I started learning how she do. Now, I didn't cook in the military, by no means. I had a whole different job. But I always cooked. I always cooked, and even in the marriages I was in, I cooked. Not all the time, but I did. Uh, I was working for AT&T as a U-verse technician, and I did that for about 4 years, and then they started taking on DirecTV, and I say, no, you're all doing too much. I'm not going to stay here for this. And so when I quit the job, I didn't know what I was going to do at that time. This is 2015 or so. And I said, you know what? I'm going to quit this job. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do this. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go home for Christmas that year. Talked to a good friend of mine, and she said, Regina Brashard, she said, David, she said, what are you going to do? I said, well, I might go back to school, get my master's degree, blah, blah, blah. She said, but as much as you cook, I thought you'd go to culinary school. Huh? I stopped right then. Right then. Now, mind you, this was Christmas Eve, and I was living in Dallas at the time. I get on my phone, I'm looking up culinary school Dallas. Le Cordon Bleu popped up. I told them I was interested. The day after Christmas, which was that Friday, they called me. That Monday, I was enrolled. That's how fast that went. And so I love cooking. I love cooking for friends. I love cooking for family. It's a passion of mine. We call it a labor of love. And I went to culinary school, not particularly to work in the restaurant industry, but to learn, to hone my skills, and to be able to say I got paperwork behind whatever I decided to do, whether it was catering, whether it was owning a restaurant, which I did. All of those things I wanted to have the culinary tools to use to say, you know what, I'm French culinary trained. I'm being from Louisiana. All of our food is French culture based. And then I want to be able to add some different flavors to different foods that I know. And when I learn about, seasoning, flavor profiles, and how to whisk and blend things together to get and all of that knowledge that I carry with me. So you and I can cook the same meal. They say you're going to cook this meal and y'all going to prepare the same meal. My meal is going to be differently from yours, even though you prepared the same meal, it's not going to taste the same. It's just not. And the quality of it is
Yo,
not going to be the same.
yo.
And this is what you learn about cooking. There's a lot of cooks out there. And I tell people, until you get in a restaurant and you start earning your stripes and you start getting to those levels where you're going to start beginning called chef, that's where it's at, And the Ritz-Carlton, that was grueling, working Ritz-Carlton. Then shifted from there to the House of Blues, and they always put you down at the bottom. It wasn't even 2 weeks I was running the Foundation's kitchen for the members. So it's just that getting good at your craft and being able to do what you do. And so, yeah, I love it. And, it's an amazing thing to be able to cook for people. And it's a love.
I want to know, because mentally, cooking does something for people. I don't think that people like there's an expression that your food tastes by the love you put into it, the energy you put into it, the time you put into it, the effort you put into it. And I like talk to me about
Cooking is therapy. Uh, for me, cooking, the kitchen and smoking a good cigar are my two happy places. Uh, if you say, she's like, babe, what you want for breakfast? I say, let me go create something. And I'll jump in the kitchen. She'll sit here and she'll watch me cook. Cooking, like I said, is very therapeutic. It allows my mind to just relax. But having my background, I think about food. And when I think about food, I'm thinking about, okay, what ingredients do I need to use? I'm thinking how I'm going to prep this, how I want it to look when I put it on the plate. And my mind is turning and burning on all this before I even step foot in the kitchen. I'm already 9 times out of 10, when I get ready to go in the kitchen, I have to use my knives. I'm pulling out my knives for something. Every time. Not sometimes, every time. I'm pulling out my knives for something. It's just what I do. And so if I'm not chopping and cutting something when I'm getting ready to cook, I'm not cooking. That's just what it is. And so you gotta kind of vision the plate. For me, I envision what that plate's gonna look like, and then I work my way backwards. Okay, I see the outcome, what I want. Now let me work my way backwards. What do I need to make it to get to that point? And that's when you take cooking to a different level.
facts, y'all. Now listen, y'all know I be cooking. I cooked some stuff today. First I grilled some beef stew tips, grilled them down a little bit, got them like a little smoky taste. Then what I did is I took them out, um, and then I made my own gravy. So I made my own gravy, and then I just took them and I threw them in a pot, and I just smothered them in the gravy. They've been smothered for like an hour and a half. I like that because I like my meat real tender. And this is just for my meal prep. That ain't nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? I made seafood mac too the other day. But listen, hey, y'all already know, especially people my age, a lot of men don't cook. So that's what I'm learning, and I'm learning that it's a real skill. But all jokes aside, y'all, the mental process of cooking, I'll break it down to y'all because I wrote this down. I wanted to express this to you, and then I wanted to express this to the subscribers. Cooking is a form of your mental health, and it can push you to have your boundaries and have everything you want in line to your purpose. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you prepare a meal for somebody, you're taking yourself out of the equation, and then you're putting your mind into focusing on them, and you're pushing for them to have a great time and a great taste on the food that you're providing, which that makes you feel good. So cooking is that. Plus, whenever you're preparing something, it's just how you prepare yourself every day. Are you gonna measure yourself every day? Can you cook without measuring? Oh, I already know how to do this. What is your style of cooking? And that'll tell you what type of person you are. For instance, I've been cooking so long, I don't measure. I don't measure because I've done the experience. And a lot of people don't know how to, a lot of people think that they don't have to measure themselves in life to other people. They think that, but no, you have to, because that's when you'll know when you don't have, like, everything is a boundary in the kitchen. Everything is a boundary within yourself. If you're gonna cook something, the way you cook it, how fast you cook it, the time, that's the same thing you're gonna put into your dreams. That's the same thing you're gonna put into your goals. Um, how you want it to look. How do you want to look whenever you're outside? How do you want to be presented when you're outside? The taste. How do you want people to feel whenever you leave a room? What taste in their mouth do you want them to be? So all these different things, know that cooking pours that into you, and understand that your mental mindset can be wrapped into something, and to where you have to prepare. If you're doing a podcast, if you're doing interviews, if you're doing life coaching or whatever, you have to prepare your meal before you feed it to the minds that you have listening. So cooking is therapeutic. If you can, even if you can't, please try, because you'll find a lot of answers within yourself.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. As a chef, no matter how many times I cook something, no matter how many times I prepare something, there's two things I always do. Number one, I keep a meat thermometer. I need to know what
Oh,
my internal
okay,
temperatures
okay.
are. I keep that. I don't care whether things like chicken. If I want to do my meat medium rare, I know my temperatures. I need to be able to gauge my temperatures. I'm always going to use the tools of the trade, tools of the trade, tools of the trade, tools of the trade, tools of the trade. I.e., no matter how many times I cook rice, I'm going to measure it. Why? Because I want it to be the same consistency, the same every single time. So I am that type of person that I measure. My fiance like, why you measure? Because I know I do it 1,000 times, but you know what? Every time I fix it, it tastes the same every single time. It's consistency. It's just like in the restaurant industry. When you got people working in your kitchen, you have a recipe book in front of them. That recipe book is for continuity and consistency in your food quality and taste. Here's the recipe book. Here's the recipe. Read the recipe. No matter how many times I've read a recipe, that book needs to be in front of me just for the fact that if the exec chef walked in, sous chef walked in, and they see you cooking a meal and you don't have that recipe book, recipe card in front of you, they're like, what are you doing? Where's the recipe card? Because when a customer comes, the reason why you get repeat customers in your life and in your restaurant is because they come for the quality. There's no such thing as your A team or your B team. You need to be on your A game every single time because people come back and they have an expectation. They have an expectation for that food to taste the same way they did 5 months ago. And you always know when somebody didn't read the recipe card because it don't taste the same. So on the thing that you said, be consistent and measure yourself because people expect that energy that causes people to be drawn to you is the same energy they expect from you every time they see you. And when you give them something differently, they gonna know.
That's facts. That's facts. Hey, y'all heard it, and that's how it blends the cooking thing. So I wrote it out. I'm so glad that you're able to interpret that and then give them an even deeper meaning because that just took the analogy to a whole nother level. I love that. I love that for sure. I want to talk to you about this, and then I want to get into the Panama thing because that's where I kind of want to end it. But most people talk about what you have, but most people aren't willing to do the work.
Man, I keep having this conversation with my fiance's son. He's 12 years old, and he's always, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. We just had this conversation 2 days ago. I said, let me tell you something. Most people see your end result. That's all they see. They see your end result.
Yeah.
They don't see the months, years, and decades of what you went through to be where you are today. That's even whether it's your appearance, what people thought about you in high school versus where they see you at now. Whether it's about your finances, where you were 30 years ago versus where you are now. And everybody just looks at you. Oh my God, you got everything. Blah blah blah. I said, no, you don't understand. I lost two brothers.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I done lost friends. I done lost families. I've lost. I don't know how many people could say this, but in my lifetime, at least four women that I have dated are dead.
Mm,
When you when you go through, and one of them was an ex-wife. I said you don't understand the mental stress and the turmoil that I went through to be the person that I am today. So to say that you wish that you have what I have right now means you're gonna have to go through what I went through to get to this space. It's not that easy.
yeah. Man, first off, that speaks a million words in itself. We're gonna get to that. I dumb it down to people to make not even dumb it down. Just make people understand like how many times do we watch an NBA game? You know what I'm saying? But what y'all don't realize is in the off season, we don't see all them workouts that they go through. We don't see how Steph. They say Steph makes over 500 to 1,000 shots a day. That's makes, not misses. Makes. And then we only get to see him for 82 games if he's healthy and everything is good. So the process before we see the product people are never going to understand the balance of that because you can't see those dark times. There's times where you might go to the gym and you just can't hit nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you come to the game and then it's these reps and people don't really get it. Even football. These people, you're playing every year. They got to train their bodies to try to last in a season. You know how many workouts they got? They only got 17 games. I don't even know the NFL, or 15, whatever the games is. They probably
16.
16 games. They probably done over 200 workouts for 16 games. And that is people don't understand. People don't understand. That's the win. If you can go 200 times without nobody seeing you, you maybe can shine them 6 times. But people don't want to do the 200. They want to do the 16 and shine. See, everybody might look at my process now, and they might look at my podcast now. I challenge anybody that's watching, go right now. I keep everything up for a reason. Go look on this date, whatever I drop this on, and go look where I was last year. You'll see the podcast. You'll see the numbers. And you'll understand that it's not about what y'all see on here that I'm delivering and y'all getting all this content. It's about when I'm at home, I'm sacrificing. I'm getting into it with people that I love. I live in Oregon. My family. Why you not here? You should be here. Tomorrow and there. And I'm away because I'm chasing my dreams. I'm trying to put them in a better position. Can they see what I'm doing? No, not right now. But they're starting to look. Like, hold on. 500 subscribers, 60,000. Whoa, he might. But I'm still not there. But that's sacrificing. Listen, my mom is everything to me. And I know in life you only get one mom. A lot of people take for granted their parents. And what I say by that is sometimes we'll rather go do stuff with our friends rather than go chill with our mom. We might have to, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you don't want to break those barriers. Every time I'm at home, my mom loves to go to bingo. Y'all, if Lake Charles, you watching this, comment. I'm in a bingo hall with my mama. Wherever I don't, because it's not about me. It's about quality time with my mom doing something that she loves to do. And that helps me give y'all this great content. So just understand that there's a process that people go to the dark, that they go through in the dark to shine in the light. You know, Kevin Hart said the hardest thing for someone to do is to attack something 100% every day and not see no results. Give 100% effort and not see no results. That is the hardest thing to do consistently, because within those no results, that's on the surface for y'all. That's the views, that's the comments. But you're building lessons every day you do that. And you're furthering your process every day you do that. People take for granted that. Don't take it for granted, man. Be different. Y'all something to say on that, show?
Woo! Yeah, I started trying to build a YouTube channel, but my generation of folks are not really into YouTube. They're just not. I can't get them to jump on that. And I kind of touched on that before. I can go live on Facebook, and I can do a cooking video for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I have 2,000 plus people watching it live. Let me take that same video and do it less of the interaction, and then put it on YouTube and then post it. They won't watch it. And so it was the interaction. I figured that's what they want because I'm reading the comments and responding. I think they wanted more of the interaction than they wanted the whole, let me just sit down and watch. Now, there's an audience for that, for those who just like to watch, but that was not my audience. With the amount of people I have on Facebook and had a cooking a group on Facebook, they would watch me cook live to no end. And all that I went through, the prep, this stuff. And I'm like, because at the end of the day, at the time I'm single, I'm cooking food, and I'm like, I can't cook too much of this stuff. And then I'm the only one that's eating this stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you're taking the time and energy to go shop for this stuff, first of all, think about what you want to do a live cooking video on. And then taking time to go shop for this stuff, prep for it, get all your mise en place, and then you decide to kick the camera on and go live and cook. That's a lot of work, and especially when you're online cooking and going through the entire process, doing a whole monologue of just cooking and talking for an hour and some change, and then you post it, and you get a whole bunch of people on there. But then for those who didn't catch it live, they don't want to watch it.
Yeah,
It's tough.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So trust me, y'all. Whenever I posted my first 6 videos, you probably can munch all of them together. I probably only had like 50, 60 views. Um, you know, the thing about process and success, I really think is consistency. I've never in my life achieved something that I wasn't consistent in. And
Got to show up.
yeah, you gotta show up, but also too, you gotta understand to humble yourself. Just because you do something don't mean that people are owed to watch it, owed to you, and just owed to even your hard work, because there's people that's been doing stuff for years that sometimes don't get that. And that's what I had to learn. Like, it's not about you, Trey. It's about your mission. Is your mission to help people? Yes, well, do the steps. And eventually you'll get there. But stop worrying about what you put out right now. Put it out, because you're building a book right now. People are gonna be able to go to your pages and turn and look, and that's gonna give them more knowledge. So that's what I had to learn. That's what took me to my next step. So if you out there, y'all, find your steps. Your steps might not be mine, but you might jump on and things might be good, but until you're consistent, you're not gonna be able to maintain what you have.
That's fact.
Yeah,
You know, I tell folks like this here. Initiative gets you started. Consistency keeps you there.
it's facts. That's big facts. And with that consistency, I want to talk to you now about Panama, about how you left the USA, and I want you to get it because listen, I think so many people are bothered by change in today's world. That is the most scariest thing that people worry about in life right now is change. But people don't realize that change is the biggest part of your process to getting to the life that you want. Because if you're at a level where you're not, you have to change and become a version of yourself that puts you into the next level. So I want to know, what was it that was like, I gotta go. I see a better opportunity. Like I gotta get out of the U.S., man. Talk to me, please.
All right, so a couple things, because I just got a friend of mine sent me a message 2 days ago, and she said, David, she says, people who know me know that I pretty much stay to myself and I don't move around much. She said, but I met you on Facebook, and she says, you was living in Mexico, and I was coming down to just go to visit Mexico, and I've never been out of the country. And she said, but I want to thank you for encouraging me to come here and to go to Mexico and see how life is different. And she says, I'm grateful for now, to the point where she says, now I see how long you've been living out of the country, and now that's something she wants to do. All right. So how I got to this whole moving out of America. Now, keep in mind, as you know, 20 years in the Navy, I've been in a whole lot of different countries, and in going to those different countries, I've seen a lot of people who were prior military living in different areas. Now, don't get me wrong. Uh, Having what got me was I have residual income, even though after I retired, I started working, but I still had my retirement pay and I still had my disability pay. And so as the more time went, the more that I grew into what I have now with the different disability percentages. But anyway, 2016, I'm sitting in the cigar lounge, and me and a friend of mine, we're members of the cigar lounge. We're in the members area, and we're smoking cigars. This guy comes in, and I'm like, "What are you doing up in here?" We didn't know the owner was giving out, day passes for the member area. And he got to talking. I still had my chef uniform on because I had just left work. And he was like, "Hey, my daughter, I'm here from Mexico visiting my daughter." He's an American guy. He said, "I'm here visiting my daughter. She's your chef over at the Tower Club." I said, "Ashley?" He said, "Yeah, you know her?" I said, "Yeah, I know Ashley. Yeah, well, most chefs, we all know each other in this area." He said, "Yeah, man, I'm here visiting her, and I live in Mexico." And He was like, "Oh man, you ever been to Mexico?" I said, "No, no, I ain't never been to Mexico, man. A lot of places I've been, I've just never been to Mexico." He said, "Man, you gotta check it out, man. And Rosarito, man, and blah blah blah." He was hyping this thing up like it was the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay." Then he kept talking to my friend, and I said, "Hey, check this out on Facebook and blah blah blah." And I'm looking, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, "This place is this cheap?" I said, "I got an apartment right now, one bedroom. I'm paying damn near $1,500, which includes a garage and a parking space, and that's just rent. You telling me I can move to Mexico, oceanfront, ocean view for 800, fully furnished, two bedroom? Man, get out of here." And then the other thing was, 45, 45 was in office, and I said, if he got an office, it's time for me to go. And so that was my other motivator. But the fact that I had the income and I'm used to traveling, I did it in the military. I moved to Mexico sight unseen, sight unseen, sight unseen. I packed up everything and threw it in storage. I stayed with a girlfriend of mine until it was time for me to go. And I packed up my little two-seater and I drove to freaking California, from Dallas, Texas to California to San Diego, down across the border. I met a friend of mine at the border that he turned me on to. She allowed me to stay at her house until I found my own place. I found the restaurant to open up a restaurant before I found my own place. Mexico, I grew. Mexico allowed me to do things that I would have never thought, dreamt possible in the United States. You know, to go in and open up a restaurant and beachfront restaurant on top of that. My restaurant was parking lot sand beach. And it was like to be able to do the things that it allowed me to do. I couldn't have never, for $200 a month was my rent for that building. I couldn't have done that nowhere in America. Oceanfront, I couldn't have done that. And so I'm grateful for that journey. So my thing was, America, I gave it all, and I knew that administration that was going to move was going to be what it was, and it was, and it's even worse now. But I got it out of there, man. And I said, you know what? I loved it. I couldn't see myself going back, and that was in 2018. It's 2025. I haven't been back to live since. Um, it's it's one of those things that once you get in the groove of this thing and you understand it, residual income. But I told people to make this type of move, two things. You got to learn to let go of people and stuff. Your attachment to people, whether it be mom, dad, grandkids, daughters, whatever you got going on, your attachment to them, where you're willing to sacrifice you to make them happy while they're living their lives, not caring whether you do or not do. You're sacrificing and using them as an excuse to not leave and branch off and be you and take care of you. Well, that's going to be a problem for you. Oh, I got my cars, I got my house. Man, sell all that stuff. Get rid of it. Downsize. You can buy more stuff, but you get one life. Live it. It's this place is bigger. The globe is so bigger, much bigger than what you can understand. And until you start branching out and start seeing this stuff, you're not gonna get it. You're just not gonna get it. But you gotta step out your comfort zone first. That's number one.
So when most people say, like, when most people talk to you about that, like, I feel like the energy is just a mental thing of them being scared to get out of their own comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? And some
Yeah.
people have never even thought of the idea of like, wow, I could live in another country. And it's like, what what do you love so much about living into another, like, because I know everything's cheaper. I done travel, so I know food wise, going out to eat wise, all that. So your social life automatically is gonna take a drastic jump. You can even be an introvert. You're gonna have so much more income if you have everything lined up. You have so much more income and be able to do a little bit of things that you always wanted to do. So what was that moment like? I ask you two questions. What was that moment like of finally getting to do things that you never thought that you wanted to do? And the other one was like, just like, God dang, like once you were there, you're like, I'm here. Like I did it. That too.
Man, getting to Mexico, one, leaving Dallas, even in the March of 18, it was a little bit warm in Dallas. I got to Mexico that evening because it's on the coast. It was about 30, about 42 degrees. It was a little chilly for me. I didn't think Mexico was going to be that cold. Um, but to be able to sit there on the terrace on the top of the house and be looking at the ocean, watching the sunset, that for me was just like after looking at my hat, I think I was 48 when I moved there. And when I looked at that past 25 years, I'm saying, man, my mind was just so at peace that I don't hear all the noise and the stress that echoes through America. And it's like crazy. You don't feel the weight and the heaviness of the energy, the negativity that the America has and is. Um, that's the when you get when you when you drive across that border and you start to go into Tijuana and then you start hitting that curve heading around to Rosarito and you start seeing the ocean in front of you, and then as you drive there's nothing but ocean on the right side of you. Me going to San Diego for occasionally, if it was just for 3 or 4 hours going to San Diego, it was like, that's the energy you felt when you got there. And then when you cross the border and you see the ocean, you're like, that's what it is. The energy is so different when you get outside of the rat race, man, and outside of all the noise. And then you don't have to worry about somebody looking at you thinking you're going to try to steal from them. You don't have to worry about police talking about they want to shoot you for being black, pulling you over. You don't know if you're going to make it home after a traffic stop. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't feel all of that when you get out, man. And when you feel like you can just be free, that right there, I'll never go back to the station.
No, that's love.
Yeah.
That's love. That's love. That is love. I wanna talk to you about now. We talked about Mexico. What was your move to Panama? And
Okay.
yeah. I want you to no. This was perfect. This literally was part of the thing. I wanted you to explain too because it's two parts. You didn't just go to. So I wanted you to first you're in Mexico, now you're in Panama. So yeah. Let me see. Moving to Panama. Yeah. Okay. So what was your reason to move into Panama, and how different was it from Mexico?
All right. So I talked about the military VA and disability stuff. So at the time I retired, I was at 40%. I progressed to 60%. But the difference between monies in 60%, 40% to 100% is about, a couple $1,000. And so when you're making $5,500 a month of income and you just be able to sit on your behind, well, when you get that kind of money, you have options. You can start moving around, especially when you understand that it's cheaper to live somewhere else. After doing Mexico for 5.5 years, uh, let me back up. When I first moved to Mexico, I met this lady who was stationed in Panama, and we kind of hung out a lot. And she said, "David, you should look at moving to Panama." I said, "I don't want to move to Panama. Panama, we were there for what?" It was never, and you talking about this was like conversation we were having in 2019, 2018. I was like, I ain't moving to Panama. That's not my thing. I want to go where I can have some fun, have a good time, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward to 2023, when I get all of my funds back, my funds jumped. I said, you know what? I got options now. Let me take a look at Thailand. And I said, no, I've been to Thailand a few times, but their process of getting visas is a little bit different. And so Thailand was on the map, and then if I ever decide to have to ever, for any reason, got to go back to the States, that's a long flight. I said, you know what? Let me take a look at Panama. Let me take a look at Panama. Now that conversation we had was ringing in my head. I said, let me take a Panama. Now, man, you know how I'm just gonna keep it 100. I said, okay. Let me get on Tinder. What the women look like down there?
Yes,
What the women?
sir.
What the women
Yes,
look like down there? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. No, I said, what the women look like down here? Oh God, what? Beautiful, dark skin, long hair, curly hair, gorgeous, built like oh. I said, you know what? Let me go down here. Let me book this flight real quick. Let me book this flight real quick. Man, let me
Man,
tell you, I came down here for a 5 day trip and I had one set up before I got here.
mm.
So, hung out with her the 5 days I was here. I'm like, oh man, Panama is lit. Everything, everything that I could not do in Mexico or was not available in Mexico is here. Then the kicker for me was after dealing with the Mexican peso for 5.5 years, the dollar is the currency here. That changed the game. Why? Because Panama is as cheap or as expensive as Mexico without the currency exchange. So you have the dollar here. And so you can live that lifestyle when you start looking at where you are with income. And I always tell people when you want to look at where you want to go, check out the median income of the country. Find out where your income stacks up in that. And you'll understand the type of lifestyle you can have. All right. When I looked at my income, I'm in the top 5% of income percentile. Do you know how that would make anybody feel to find that you're in the top 5% income percentile? That's saying a lot. That
That's
gives
saying
you,
more than a lot. More than a lot. That give you not only you get room. That's
it
yeah.
allows you, it allows you to move and navigate in ways you didn't think were possible. And then because you're not used to being in that percentile, you still live like you in the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
80.
yeah. Because you don't need that extra, all that extra stuff, but you have the access, so you don't even. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
That
That's it.
part, that part. So whenever you get down here, it's beautiful weather. It's warm all year round. We have two seasons here, summer and rainy season, and we're in rainy season right now. With the summers here start in November, December, January, February, March, April. We start dwindling down to winter time. Not that it gets cold, but it's just how the seasons work here.
Right.
Because where Panama is only a few degrees above the equator, so when it's freezing cold where you are, it's really hot here. And
Oh.
then when it starts getting hot where you are, it's a little cooler here.
Mhm.
Uh, and so, man, when I looked at, I got cigar lounge options, multiple. I got bowling alleys available. They didn't have that in Mexico. I got huge shopping malls, multiple malls to shop at. And I'm talking Playa del Carmen didn't have that, and Rosarito definitely didn't have a huge shopping mall. That just
What's
didn't
the
have
malls
none of
like
that.
out there? What's the malls like out there? The shoes and all that. What is that?
Any and everything you want. So we have Albrook Mall. If you look it up, Albrook Mall is probably the largest mall in Latin America. And if I tell you Albrook Mall, if you walk it, all three floors, and I'm talking from one end to the other, it'll take you a few hours. It's
Mm.
huge. It's huge, and they got like two or three food courts. Huge. I mean, it's a big mall, and we have several. And now that's Albrook Mall is like your neighborhood mall where everybody go.
Yeah.
Income class doesn't mean much. Then we have our high end malls. You're gonna find Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all of the that's Multi Plaza Mall. So that's in a different neighborhood, but you're gonna find that high end stuff there. But even at the same time, economically, this place is still cheap, right? Um, I hate to say it, but China has so much influence in Panama because they were part of the building of the canal, and so people have connections to where you can find a lot of clothing stores. I promise you, you can buy a whole outfit for less than $60.
That's crazy. That's
I,
crazy.
if I tell you, it really, I wanted to video that one time, and and to go, they wouldn't even let me put my camera on. They wouldn't even let me put the camera on. I'm like, wait a minute, I buy jeans, Levi's jeans. I bought, what was I just bought? I bought some Levi jeans. I bought y'all don't know about the Jordache. So I bought a pair of Jordache, a Jordache button down. All this stuff is like $15, $20.
Mm.
A pair of jeans, $25, $19, Levi's. I'm saying, wait a minute. America is robbing folks, like literally robbing people. And when I start looking around, man, the food is amazing. Panamanian food, but it's the food scene here is so amazing, man. It's just so much you can eat on. It's crazy. And so it gave me everything that Mexico didn't give me and extra. And I met the love of my life down here. And it's like, man, it's like you can't beat this thing. You can't. It's just like you can't live this lifestyle. I just bought. I'm buying a new car down here. Uh, for the cars, and I understand if people who haven't looked in the Chinese car market, it's no different than buying Japanese. It's just the Chinese are making cars now.
Yeah.
They make a really lot of good cars under $30,000. That the luxury inside of these cars look like something that costs $200,000.
Mm. Mm.
So this is why they're not going to let the Chinese market come to America, but that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, but being able to buy and to buy a house or buy a car in retirement, these things you be like, man. But I always tell people, get your money right, get your residual income. If you feel like you can make content and make money off of it and make a living out of it, um, if you're a single person, I will tell you, Panama, living in Panama, you can live as a single person off of $2,000 or anywhere between 15 to 2,000. If you want to have a little bit cushion, $2,500 a month, you can get an apartment. I got a friend of mine who's coming down here next month. I sent them an apartment listing, $800, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, fully furnished for $800 a month.
That's crazy. God,
And you can see the ocean.
man, listen. Boy,
So
if there was 800, I would have 3 million followers right now, subscribers.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I told folks, man,
Crazy.
it will blow your mind. These are high-rise condo buildings overlooking the city. It's crazy. I found him $1,000. He said his budget was like $1,000. He was looking for a studio for $1,000. I said, bro, for $1,000, you're gonna get 3 to 4 bedrooms furnished. He says, no. He's like, it's just me. I said, dude, if you're gonna spend $1,000, you don't need a studio. You ain't no small dude. You a big dude. You need some space. No, and that's something he said, man, I can't believe it. I said, yeah, I told you. It's unbelievable.
I want to ask you about this. Hold on. You recently had a run-in with Passport Heavy. Shout out to Passport Heavy. How did that come about? And I seen the knowledge in the video, y'all. Shout out to Passport. I'm gonna post it so you can see his page. I rock with him. Definitely a fan. One day I hope to interview him. But how was that How did that come about? Tell my subscribers how was that video? How?
Okay, so I followed him by mistake. I ended up following him, and a video popped up on my feed. He was interviewing a guy about living in Panama, and I was like, okay. He said, will you ever go back? Passport Heaven said, will you ever go back to America? He says, go back for what? And he got the going on. I was like, oh man, because I've been doing this for so long. When he said go back for what, it resonated with me because I left, 7, 8 years ago. So I'm listening, and then I made a comment on there. And I basically my comment and summarizes that, I moved to Panama in August of 23, and I'm not going back. When I was living in Mexico for 5.5 years before that, I said, Panama is home. Go back to America. And it was and that comment by itself fired off so heavy. It's probably it's the number one comment. When you open that video, it's right there at the top because it's got about almost 2,000 likes on it and a whole bunch of comments on it. And so I've been going back and forth with people on there about that. And so what happened was he reached out to me. He said, hey man, you in Panama? I said, yeah, I'm in Panama. He said, let's have a conversation. And I talked with him and I said, well, you know what? I'm getting ready to head into the city. I'm going to go over to Deck 23. But let's meet up over there because we were trying to figure a spot. And I said, let's meet up over there. He said, all right, man, I'll meet you up over there. And that's how it happened. We just blew up from there.
Oh, yeah, man.
That was crazy. It was like so fast. And he's like, okay. And then when we did the whole shoot and stuff, we just chopping it up, And next thing you know, somebody said, hey, you're on Instagram with such and such. How you know him? I made a comment. It went basically. I made a comment. It got a lot of hits, and he reached out to me, and that was that. From there, we've been chopping up ever since.
All right, man, that's
So
love, man. Shout out to
you,
him. I'm definitely a big fan of him and what just everything that he embodies with traveling and giving people a mental aspect of a different way of life. You know what I'm
it
saying?
is.
And
I'm learning from
tapping
him.
into yeah, nah, I'm man. That's one dude. I definitely he need to like. I got one day. I believe in putting in the work, and I believe God will bring the people to me. So I'm gonna keep working, but one day I gotta get him on the pod. But speaking to that and speaking to the life that y'all both spoke on, and I kind of want to give y'all grace and give y'all flowers on this. Um, what you speak on is not just knowledge; it's generational knowledge. It's saving people's life knowledge, letting them understand that you've done the work. Get rid of those people that's trying to hold you from you being your true happiness and take a chance at your true happiness of life. And I think that speaks louder than knowledge of, oh, you can get a better price if you stay here. No, 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 no. That's one way to get you here to live. We talking about now the things that you're able to do and the way that you want to live. What do you want to be? How do you want to be perceived? You know, and I think that message, even with Passport Heavy, the things that he's preaching, it's like the knowledge that y'all are giving ain't just that; it's generational. You can impact a whole new generation of people to think and live better than what they would live in a certain country. That's amazing. Like, you know, so I want to give y'all flowers on that. Both of y'all. Shout out to y'all on that for sure.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But listen, we winding up. Man, I got this thing. It's called Decoding the Real. And this is where I give a real moment. All my subscribers know. First off, I want to say thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for the genuine conversation. Thank you so much for tapping in with me. And thank you for the conversation that we had off camera. Just being able to talk, flow, have different conversations, and just for you to be able to listen to me, I listen to you. And I just want to say, man, I truly appreciate just everything that you ever been through, because I know that was brought on my channel. That was how you were able to speak. So through your trials and tribulations, tough times and everything, I want you to know that genuinely I do it on purpose to let you know that I am a fan of you. So I like to tell people that I don't like this new generation where we think we too cool to give people their flowers and for people to just know that you are a fan of them. So thank you so much for tapping in with me, man, and coming on the podcast. I truly, truly appreciate you.
Man, it's a pleasure, and I'm a fan of yours, man. I'm gonna follow. I've been following your content. I had to go back with it a minute and start looking at it and see what you got going on, because I want to learn too. You know what I'm saying? I want to learn to do the things that you do. You know, I got nothing but time on my hands, and I like to be productive with it.
Man, yeah,
So
man.
thank you,
You doing?
thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure, man. Nah, no problem, man. You already know, man. You got my personal number, and anything you need from me, advice, or like, hey, bro, like, I
I'm
need help
coming to
with
you.
this. Yeah,
I'm coming
man,
to you. I learned
please,
something about
please.
this app today. You know, so I'm coming
Yeah,
to you.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And to everybody out there, y'all tap in with him. I'm gonna have his socials up. Y'all follow him. I don't know if he's still doing YouTube. If he is, please subscribe, because man, he has a bunch of. He's so talented, multi-talented in different ways. And y'all already know listening to the episode. Y'all know by now. But also too, please continue to like, to comment, and subscribe. Please check out my community too. I've been posting in there for you guys. I just really started it, and there's just a better way for y'all to connect one-on-one with me. So y'all see me post the interview or everything where it goes directly to y'all. Comment the things that y'all want me to talk about, and we'll get to it. And this is not gonna be the last time he's on the podcast too. So just I just want to let y'all know. So I know y'all gonna eat this podcast up. I will definitely be bringing him back for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't want this to be a one-time thing. I would love for you to come back on the platform if you want to, obviously. But
Anytime, you just let me know. You know how we do. Just
for sure.
you say let's, I say go. Let's go.
Hey, that's a wrap, and y'all already know the motto, man. Be different. All right.
Hey, it's your boy King Trey here with Decoding, Two Sides of the System. I've been telling y'all that I got a big announcement. Well, it's here. I've now partnered with my first deal with the Clap app. And listen, all you gotta do is use my link. Boom, it's gonna be here, it's gonna be here, it's gonna be here, all down here. Listen, click the link. If you got any videos that you want to make reels out of, if you got any podcasts, gym content that you talking or anything, and you don't know how to make your own reels or your content creation, all you got to do is use my link, plug in your URL to your content, and it will make your reels for you. Listen, this is an opportunity for you to take whatever content you got to the next level. And with Clap, that's what we doing. We taking it to the next level. So I want to thank everybody that's been supporting me from day one, to all the people, all my new subscribers. Like I say, y'all not subscribers, y'all family members. The Be Different family is growing fast. And with the growth, we're now accomplishing new things. So I want to thank y'all for supporting me, growing with me. And listen, y'all make sure y'all tap in. I'm talking about, listen, I'm clapping. Hey, it's there. Use the link and let me know what, you know what? Forget all that. I want to see who got the best content. Use my link, tag me in the content, and I'm going to throw you on the pod. That's what we doing. I'm going to shout you out to all the family. Whoever got the best content, that make the best content using the Clap app, is going on the pod, man. So y'all already know the motto, be different.